Hey guys, good morning. How are you today? So last night we ended up getting about 9 inches of snow, so today we are snowed in. We all have the day off from work. The girls are home, so we thought we would go and make some beef stew on our stove. So we're going to show you how we're going to do that today.
Yeah, so we have our wood burning stove. Has a nice cooktop on top. We cook on it nowhere near as much as we want to, but
Or should.
yeah, but we do it a handful of times out of the year. Right now, we're going to cook up the beef, let that stew for a while, get nice and tender, and then we'll throw in our veggies when it's closer to time to eat it. But right now, we're just getting the oil heated up right now in our cast iron pan. Scored this beautiful Dutch oven at a fair. I think it was like $30.
Yeah, it was cheap.
Like 25 or 30 bucks. Really
no
good,
more than that.
Really good score. So it's letting the oil heat up. We breaded some beef right now. What do we put? I think a little bit of salt, pepper, a little bit of onion, garlic powder with it, with the flour, and toss it in the flour. We'll thicken it up a little bit, give it a nice coating. And then once that's cooked up, we're gonna throw some red wine from the Field Hill Reserve. And then throw some beef stock in it as well. And let that boil up and slowly simmer over the wood burning stove. Alright, hopefully this oil's hot enough.
It's sizzling.
Yeah,
we're good.
I think this oil is hot enough here.
Oh yeah. We're making our beef stew. Oh, you can hear the sizzling.
And we need carrots.
Yeah, we're gonna put carrots in it and celery. Yum yum.
Alright, throw the rest of this in there. Now, one thing that I kind of don't like about cooking over this fire is that your legs get very hot very quick.
Yes. Even standing here filming, I'm like, whoo.
You can certainly feel it. Alright, so I'm going to let this brown up pretty good before I start throwing some liquid in there. So we got the beef frying up here. I got a temperature gauge on the stovetop here. It's about 375, and you know, from looking online, the electric range, make medium high heat is anywhere from like 330 to 375 or so. So right now I'm cooking this like on a medium high heat. Obviously, you want it hot enough to get the sizzle and everything out of it. And then I'm probably going to lower it a little bit when we bring it to a boil. Once we bring it to a boil, and then once the vegetables go in, we'll bring it back up a little bit to get that, you know, slow simmer boil going on. But you got to try to, you know, I mean, you can have a temperature on here. I have it on there just so I can help you gauge, but it's really the sound of the food. You know, the sizzle that is making, the way it's boiling and simmering, that can really help you gauge temperature as well. But you can obviously use a thermometer as well. So we're going to put in, I like putting in wine. I put alcohol in almost all my cooking. But I'm putting some wine here. When I put alcohol in cooking, I mainly like to do it with the meat. I think the alcohol kind of soaks into the meat and it flavors it much more better than just like dump it in once I have all the stock and everything else in there. So I'm going to put this in. I'm going to actually let it cook off a little bit before I add the broth in. About like half a cup, maybe a little more.
Oh, smells good. We need smell-o-vision. Of course, I know we said that it's hot, but the cats do not care.
I'm gonna throw the cover on this and let that cook a little bit before I put the broth in. Alright, got some of that wine nice and cooked into the meat there.
But I don't want it today.
Mommy will
Well,
fix
shut
your
it.
cup. It's gonna come out good.
Yeah, it smells good so far. Alright, we put a lot of spices with a lot of stuff we do. We like a lot of flavor and everything. But as you can see, this is what we're putting in. Some marjoram, rosemary, thyme, oregano, some savory, bay leaves, a little bit of salt, garlic, and a couple hot peppers just to... So yeah, so that's kind of what we're putting in. You don't have to put this much stuff in. You can put less things. You can choose. But this is what we're putting in ours.
Watch out, pumps.
It's a big one. Look.
That's a big one. Only need one of those. Of course, we just eyeball everything. There's
Yeah,
no exact.
This is not baking, so we just kind of throw stuff in there.
We'll go by looks and smell.
And you know, some things have much stronger flavors than others. You know, like garlic and rosemary, and you know, you put a little bit of something in. Main thing is try it. We're gonna try this. You know, once it cooks up down a little more, probably in a couple hours, especially before we put the veggies in, and we'll see how it tastes. If it needs a little bit of something, then we'll throw it in. I'm crushing up the rosemary. Rosemary, when you buy it at the store, even though we have a fresh plant, which we probably should have been using that, but when you buy it at the store, it always comes in these long shards, and I like breaking it up. So, you know, some people don't like munching on a big sprig of rosemary.
I know I don't.
So, even though the rosemary was store-bought, and we do have a plant, and we could have used it, the garlic is from our neighbor's garden up the road, McComber Blueberries. He grows some garlic on the side, and that's where we got that from. The hot peppers are from our garden that we dried out, and the bay leaf is from somebody's garden. It's from my mom's friend that we got a few years ago. So there is some neighborhood fresh stuff in there. Yeah, I'm just going to throw in a little bit of pepper too. Give all this a good stir.
How old is you, Papa?
Oh, we already used that, my love, but thank you.
Did you this? Mommy,
Yeah, we use that. Yeah.
how about this?
Yep, we used that too. We used them all.
What about this?
That is broth. Alright, I'm gonna let this simmer for a little bit.
How about this?
We're gonna actually throw some, about 400 degrees. I want to get a little bit higher so it starts to boil, and then I'll let the fire die down a little bit. Try to get this round to like maybe between like 350 and like 325 area. But I'm gonna try to crank this up a little bit right now.
How about
Nice big fire.
I'll get it cranked pretty good. All right, so our stew has been cooking
Well, let's see.
for about 3 hours now. Meat's pretty good. So we're going to throw in the veggies. Put in,
That- We have thieves among us.
hey, who's eating the carrots?
I can hear him crunch.
So we're gonna put some carrots, if there is any left. Some potatoes, onions, and celery.
Looks
Hey,
good. Oh,
come on.
oh.
We'll get some more once it's done cooked.
Hey, at least they like their carrots. It could be worse.
That looks like nice and full now. Look at
That looks
that.
really good.
All right, cook that until the veggies and potatoes are done. Okay, we're good to go. All right, so our stew is pretty much done, and it's good to go. All the veggies are nice and cooked and everything. Didn't use 1 ounce of energy as far as electricity goes, or gas or anything. All on the wood burning stove. So I like my stew a little thick, so I'm going to put a little gravy master and then some cornstarch in there. Cornstarch with cold water. I like a nice thick stew. Oh yeah, thickened up already.
That looks so good.
Alright, we're good to go. All on the wood burning stove.
All right, time to eat.